I have always believed that some places do not just welcome you, they challenge you, inspire you, and stay with you. Mexico City is one of those places. It is amazing to see how past and present coexist peacefully side by side in this city. Skyscrapers and the ruins of Aztec pyramids, Catholic cathedrals, Spanish haciendas, royal palaces, ancient traditions, and speedy highways, all this mix of history and modern life creates an unforgettable impression. And this is a map of Mexico City's historical sites. If you want to see all of them, you will probably have to stay here for a month or even longer. In this video, I will show you my favorite sites of Mexico City, as well as the hotel we chose. And in the end of my video, I will share with you some great places to visit outside of Mexico City. So, let's begin our journey, shall we? If you have never been to Mexico City, I would highly recommend you to start your acquaintance with the city from the historical center. And this is the historical center, Zocalo Square. Mexico City was built on the ruins of Tenochtitlan, the old Aztec capital. Today, unfortunately, you will not be able to see the Grand Pyramid and Montezuma Palace. After conquering Tenochtitlan in 1521, Spanish conquistadors destroyed the Aztec capital and built a new city over it. Today, the Catholic Cathedral of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary stands on the site of the former main Aztec temple. If you have time, visit this 500-year-old cathedral. There is a rumor that in the nearest future, the cathedral may close its doors to tourists. It was built on the soft soil of the drained lake. The cathedral has been slowly sinking since the day when the first stone was laid in 1534. The ground around this part of the city is not solid. It shifts, compresses, and sinks even nowadays. If you think that visiting a post office sounds boring, wait until you see this one. This post office looks more like a royal palace than a place to mail letters. Inside, you will find twisting stairs, golden balconies, and details so fancy you'll forget it was built for stamps and envelopes. Future architects, take note. This is where mail meets magic. This post office was opened over 100 years ago in 1907, and today the palace still functions as the post office. The post office is located within walking distance from Zocalo Square. Put the site on your list to do in Mexico City. Our next stop is at the old Palace of Inquisition. Today it is the Palace of Medicine. I wanted to see this place because during the colonial time, between 1571 and 1821, this palace was the headquarters for the Holy Inquisition of New Spain. New Spain was the name for Mexico that time. Today, it is all about medical history. Still a little creepy, but I got a kick out of seeing how place of fear turned into place of learning. It is hard to believe that the Institute of Holy Inquisition officially was abolished only in 1821 after Mexico gained independence from Spain. It is a small museum with an interesting exposition if you like medicine. This museum is only 2 blocks away from the main square, Zocalo Square. After a couple hours of exploring this part of the city, you may need a bite to eat. There's a very nice place to rest and have lunch or dinner just across the street from the main cathedral, Hotel Zocalo Central. When you get to the top floor, you will find the restaurant, Balcón del Zocalo. Balcón means balcony, so it's very easy to remember the name of the restaurant. And this restaurant has the best view of the square and the cathedral. You cannot find a better place to enjoy food and the view, especially if you like it to get a table at the balcony. This restaurant is always busy. In the evenings, it is packed. So if you plan to have dinner, make your reservation time in advance. The hotel Zocalo Central has a sister hotel, Historico Central. It may be a little bit confusing because on the website, both hotels are named Hotels Central. They are under the same management. During our last trip to Mexico City, we stayed at Historica Central. Here it is. This hotel is located a few blocks away from the busy and noisy Zocalo Square. I would say within a 10-minute walk from it. We wanted to stay in the historical part of the city, and at the same time, we wanted a place as quiet as possible. The Historica Central has 80 rooms. We had a standard double room with two double beds. The room was tiny but very clean. We asked for the quietest room. We didn't have a view, but our room was very quiet. Breakfast was included, very good breakfast indeed, with a lot of choices. And this is the breakfast and dining area. As the guests of the hotel, we had the privilege to have food and beverages free of charge at the Cafe Central. The menu included soups, salads, sandwiches, fruits, snacks, sweets, and beverages. Also, we really appreciated the little extras, like free bottled water. In Mexico City, I wouldn't recommend anyone drinking water out of a faucet. Having complimentary bottled water on each floor and fresh apples was a nice touch. As we had a very intensive program, how we have very intensive program in Mexico City, leaving usually right after early breakfast and coming back around 8 p.m., we appreciated the convenient location of the hotel, early breakfast, and a clean, quiet room. Now, my dear travelers, it is time to show you my favorite site in Mexico City, the Anthropology Museum. Guys, you must visit this place to truly understand the soul of Mexico. You will be amazed to see treasures of Aztec, Maya, and other ancient cultures. It will help you to understand the roots of Mexico. If you're not familiar with the history of the Aztec, definitely take a tour guide, as the history of Aztec civilization is complicated and compelling. On one hand, bloody human sacrifice. On the other hand, glorious engineering achievements such as the city of Tenochtitlan. When in 1519 Spanish conquistadors came to Tenochtitlan, today's Mexico City, they expected to see the primitive huts. Instead, they found a huge city rising from the middle of a lake, connected to the shore by long canals, so precise that conquistadors compared them to Venice. However, the beautiful city revealed its secrets. Conquistadors became witnesses of religious games and bloody rituals they couldn't comprehend, as well as the Aztec dedication to the vicious looking gods. The Earth Mother, Coatlicue. Her necklace is strung with hands and hearts. It was a warning to the Aztec that the giver of life could also take it. The Lord of the Earth, Tralticutli. He is the god of male creative power. And if you look closer, you will see that his male creative power is depicted pretty obviously. The Prince of Flowers. Let me try to pronounce his name correctly. That's kind of hard one. Sho- Xochipilli. Xochipilli, the Prince of Flowers. He is the god of beauty and pleasure. He reminded the Aztec that love was a sacred force. Yeah, the worlds of the ancient Aztec deities was complicated. The Aztec believed that divine protection was earned through obedience, ritual games, and human sacrifice. So, who were they, the Aztec gods? Divine guardians or vicious protectors? The Museum of Anthropology is amazing, simply amazing. It is the most visited museum in Mexico, so during the peak season, you may experience long lines and busy crowds. And not far away from the Anthropology Museum, there's another interesting place to visit Chapultepec Castle. This castle is located on the top of the hill. Be prepared to walk up the hilly road for good 30 minutes. Yeah, for good 30 minutes, I would say. Most tourists come to Chapultepec Castle just to enjoy the view of Mexico City, having no idea that this castle once was an imperial residence of the first and the only emperor of Mexico. Yes, for a brief dramatic period between 1864 and 1867, for 3 years, Mexico had an emperor, Maximilian I, whose story still haunts the halls of Chapultepec Castle. He came from the powerful European dynasty. In 1864, at a time when Mexico was deeply divided between liberals and conservatives, Maximilian was invited by Mexican conservatives to become the ruler of Mexico. Maximilian chose Chapultepec Castle as his royal residence. Slowly, he turned an old castle into the luxurious European looking palace. Maximilian believed that he could bring progressive ideas like land reform and education for all, but the empire he ruled was fragile. Amid the chaos of the Civil War, Maximilian reigned only for 3 years. In 1867, he was executed. He had just turned 34. I cannot judge how good or bad Maximilian was as a political leader, but Chapultepec Castle is definitely worth your time. From this terrace, you can see the entire city spread out below. You will enjoy the same view that once amazed Emperor Maximilian, the first and the only emperor of Mexico. The other place I would highly recommend you to visit is Coyoacan. Coyoacan is located in the southern part of Mexico City, about 6 miles from the historical center. It is one of the city's oldest neighborhoods. Originally, it was a separate town before being taken over by the growing capital. Coyoacan mainly is visited for seeing Frida Kahlo's Blue Casa and Leo Trotsky's house. If you like the history of socialism, especially of Russian socialism, Trotsky's house will be an interesting place to visit. Comrade Leo Trotsky, a devoted socialist, he was one of the main builders of socialism in Russia. Here in Mexico City, he lived in exile till the day of his violent death. He rented this house from his close friends and supporters, Frida Kahlo and her husband Diego Rivera. After surviving assassination attempts organized by Stalin's KGB agents, Trotsky reinforced the house with watchtowers, high walls, and steel doors. However, it didn't prevent his death by the hands of the KGB. A quick reminder for the curious tourists. Russia paid a high price for the victory of socialism. Between 1917 and 1922, during the revolution and civil war, 12 million people died, mostly civilians, from famine, diseases, and executions. As you can see, my dear travelers, Mexico City is an amazing historical destination to explore. However, many travelers do not realize that beyond the city limits, they will find an even more mysterious and magical world of Mexico. In my next video, I will take you to see the pyramids of Sun and Moon in Teotihuacan. The city of Teotihuacan had been built by the unknown civilization 700 years prior to the Aztec arrival and conquest of this area. Mysterious Tula, the 10th century city of warriors. The massive statues are placed on the top of the pyramid, and today, if you want to see them close up, you will have to climb to the top of the pyramid. Puebla, a charming colonial town founded by the Spanish in 1531. This town looks like an open air museum. Lovely colonial architecture, colorful tiles everywhere, and a lot of gold in the churches. Cholula, oh boy, it is a weird place. A huge pyramid built by the unknown civilization is still buried onto this hill. You may walk to the top of the hidden pyramid, but it may be a challenge getting to the top of it. Tepozatlan, a cute little town, the place where I tasted the best Aztec soup. I always say if you're looking for the best of the nation's cuisine, visit a small untourist town. That's it for today, my dear travelers. I hope you liked our tour around Mexico City. I also hope you're getting excited to see more of Mexico. Please subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, give me a like. Thank you so much for watching today. Until next time.
Todos estos campos que están aquí es de nopal. Y este,